Have you ever been to a tournament and you thought, my Orks just don't quite cut it? I just don't seem to have the right firepower. Looters have got the firepower. They take things like this from their opponents, they slap it together, and all of a sudden, they got some awesome daka. And the Looters, they know how to combine stuff like this together to make the ultimate blooming weapon for any Ork arsenal. And they're like, yes, I am batty as the battiest bat there is. Welcome to Twisted Dice. I'm Darren. This video is about Ork tactics, and more importantly, I'm going to be talking about Looters, how to use Looters, the best way to use Looters, and how to get the best out of your Looters. Let's start off with the clan cultures. Now, of course, Looters, the best way to use Looters is always with Bad Moons. The simple fact that you get the reroll ones, and the ability to show off so you can shoot again, that's quite very strong for Looters. And of course, you put more daka on it, more daka first for 2 CP, then you obviously roll to see how many shots you get. If you roll big, woohoo, damn, you're gonna be good tonight. But the more daka is strong. And then the fact that you do the shoot again makes it even damn stronger. Now, for me, with my Ork list, I'm not going Bad Moons. Not at the moment anyway. For me, it's going to be the boys in blue. It's going to be the Death Skulls. And the reason why I like Death Skulls for is the fact it gives them a 6-up invulnerable save. Doesn't sound much, does it? Kind of like, okay, 6-up invuln. Yeah, most of the time you're going to fail that. What it does do for me is this. It allows me to have that little bit of a fighting chance of them potentially surviving. So it doesn't matter what shoots me, I'm always going to have that 6-up invuln. So when your opponent goes, oh, yes, well, I've just shot you with -1 and you've got a 6-up paper armor, so you might as well take them off. And I go, ha! No, sir! I got a 6-up invulnerable save and I don't damn care. I'm going to roll my 6s and gotta go, ha! I survived. Doesn't always work like that, but that's how we like to think it goes. So with the Looters, now let me show you what I'm going to be taking my next tournament list. Looters have saved my bacon so many damn times in tournaments and games. It's absolutely bonkers. When I go to tournaments and I see people don't take Looters, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? Looters. Look, Looters are going to be your bread and butter in your army. Well, I seem to think so anyway, because this is my personal preference. This is where I need to have a table and sitting down going, prove me wrong. Anyway, drop some comments down below. That'd be really cool. So for me, there's a couple of things that needs to be in your army when taking Looters. One, I always take a Weird Boy. With a Weird Boy, I always make sure I've got the jump. It's kind of like going, it's like going to a petrol station and filling up your car with water. You wouldn't do it. So why the hell would you take your Weird Boy and not take the jump? And I've seen it. I feel for you guys and girls that don't take the jump. Let me re-educate you. The jump is probably the best psychic spell you can take for a Weird Boy. And if you want to double up, let's take 2 Weird Boys and let's take the jump twice, just in case one pops into the brain. But I think one's enough. For the way 40k is playing at the moment, 1 is enough. We don't want to have too many characters on the board because we don't want to give away too many damn points. So, as well as the Weird Boy, we need a little bit more protection for our Looters, because our Looters are the best thing that's going to be on our army. The next thing we want to take is some grots. So we need a big old chunk of grot boys. So little grots. Now, look, grots are really good for 3 things. 1, holding objectives when your opponent's worrying about other things. Well, actually they don't. They've actually got paper skin armor, so they die really easy. They don't benefit from any clan cultures, but they tend to get forgotten because they are small, they don't do nothing, so they can potentially be good at holding back, holding objectives, screening out your opponent, which is massive. But the main reason why we use grots, grots are good for keeping or taking some damage off your Looters. So turn 1, make sure your looters are hidden away by train. Train is king. King of the battlefield is the train. The train at the moment in 9th edition is strong and powerful. And if you use the train in the best manner, boy, you as an Orc player, you're going to have an absolute frigging field day. You're going to be like, ha ha, this train is going to save my bacon. And believe me, check out some of our battle reports because the train really does rock and it saved my bacon on the Orcs so many damn times. But, so with the looters, what I tend to do, turn 1, or when I'm deploying them, hide them away behind scenery. Don't be afraid of like, you know, of hiding them away. You know, try to think about the weird boy is going to be there for that reason, for the jump. Of course, it depends on who you're playing. If you're playing a close combat army, it's like, hey, I don't really care. I'll just put them on top of this building, and I'll be like, pew, 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 shoot them off before they even get to me. But if you don't have that, then it's really cool that you can put those looters in a position where, come turn 1, if you need to move them in a position to shoot, you can do, and that's really, really cool. Now, you know, looters are only strength 7. They're -1, 2 damage. Only. Let me put it this way. Every time one of those goes through, that is killing off a Primaris Marine. Every time that Primaris Marine fails its save. You know, looters for me have destroyed Hive Tyrants. They've destroyed Repulsors, they've destroyed Redemptor Dreadnoughts. You know, the downside of the downside to looters is the fact that it's strength 7. So when you're going up against T8 stuff, it makes it a lot damn harder. But let's face it, a lot of the stuff on the battlefield tends to be T4, T5. So there's going to be a few units out there that are going to laugh at you, but most of the time, it's not a problem. That, you know, they do really rock. You know, that yes, they are expensive for what they do, but trust me, sir, they can really hammer out some firepower. You know, and they've got 48-inch range, which is like the new las cannon. Like, there's not much on the new battlefield that it can't reach, and if it can't, you can just move it a little bit, and all of a sudden you've got that ability. And of course, as I say, the stratagems you want to be using, like the more Daka, you know, is key. The fact that you can now move, and like all of a sudden, where that more, you know, where they're being hitting on 6s. You know, that more Daka is like, well, yeah, okay, we're heavy, but guess what? We're doing more Daka on 5s and 6s, and that is strong because the more Daka means you get to shoot gain. You know, you get to roll dice again to shoot more stuff. Woohoo! All of a sudden, you are popping off so many things. Now, this is a good little scenario. So we've got a board set up at the moment where, let's say, for argument's sake, we're going 2nd. And our boys have come down and, you know, they've positioned themselves in a way where, you know, they're going to take out some bits. But look, this is Marine players. They like to do various stuff. We've got our boys. They've just jumped forward. Now they've got the 12-inch bubble where, you know, the jump comes in and like, no, you're not getting close to us. But we're like, yeah, look, cool. We don't care about that because our Orc boys, they're going to, on our turn, if you know, they're going to run up the board, they're going to start charging. So they're going to advance, they're going to charge if they can get in there because we've got the War Boss. The War Boss is going to allow them to run and charge, which is strong. That's really strong because I'm Death Skulls, man. So I don't care. I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm going to run at you and I've got objectives secured, so we're cool, we're strong. But this is where the looters come good. So if we have a look at this scenario where we've got things set up, now, at the moment, we've got our captains that are hidden at the back, and most games I play, people damn forget about this, and you always will get that situation that most players will make that silly mistake, is they will put things like this at the back, and they think, oh yeah, you know, you ain't getting to me because you've got to come all the way up here, and you're not going to really do that. But this is where going into Orcs turn 1, we do this. With the weird boy, we do the jump. We then take the looters and we then jump them up the back here. Now, of course, this is not always going to be the case. This is going to be very, very situational. But in this scenario, it's now letting me pop off the captain or the chaplain. So yes, look, turn 3, the looters are gone. So this is going to be a sacrifice. And as I said, this is very, very situational when you're going to use this. So give you an example. I played a game last year where, it might have been a year and a half ago, where I was playing against I was playing against one Thunderfire cannon. Now this Thunderfire cannon was absolutely ripping the hell out of me. And whatever I did, like my Orc boys were just, I couldn't get up against the board on my first turn because of, the Thunderfire cannon. So what I did is the person I played, he moved a set of troops slightly forward, which then let me have a small line at the back. So on my turn 2, I done the jump, and what I done then, I jumped my looters right behind the line, and it then gave me a bead upon his, Thunderfire cannon. So yes, look, I'm not going to lie. Going into my next opponent's next turn, he did pretty much kill off most of my looters. But I tell you what, he did do. It's that simple little sacrifice meant that my Orc boys could then get up the board, because all of a sudden, if the looters are there, for instance, on this game, their attention is no longer here, it's now here. So what you're doing is you're drawing attention from your opponent, and you're making them think, look here, opposed to here. That is frigging massive, because that fear of God goes into them, because all of a sudden they've just seen how much damage these bad boys can do, and you're like, oh my God, they're gonna kick my ass. So then all of a sudden these guns turn around and they go, nope, we're gonna shoot the looters. But while they're doing that, all your other stuff are now charging up the board, and then boy, see the fear of God in them. That's how I play looters, and that's how looters can be really good for yourself. Now look, you don't have to sacrifice your looters. So please don't think that, oh, well, that's the best way of doing it. Darren said that, I've got to chuck them up there. You don't always have to do that. If you feel that the chaplain and the captain are not much of a threat for yourself, of course, it does depend upon your secondaries as well. It might be a situation where turn 1, you've done X amount of damage, say, on the Redemptor Dreadnought. The Redemptor Dreadnoughts put them in the position where, some of your bigger guns can't shoot, because it don't quite have the bead. Again, this is where you can use those looters for that ability of reposition them with the Weird Boy in a way, or maybe moving them over to the building, so you then have that position then to shoot off and take those last wounds. Looters should, or would have done in the past, absolutely annihilate one of the Redemptor Dreadnoughts, but of course new rules means that they're not as quite effective as they was before. But to get those last final wounds off, they can potentially be really good. I can see the Orc Codex bringing some really cool awesomeness from Gork and Mork. We can only wait and only pray that what comes from our next codex is going to be absolutely friggin' magical. Let's fingers crossed and pray for some goodness. But yeah, look, looters are really damn cool. And not only that, if you're like me, one of my secondaries I normally go for is always table quarters. I love table quarters, and that potentially could be the swaying moment where you think, do you know what? Yeah, I need to kill that. Let's do a real orky thing. And remember, orcs don't cower behind. Orcs don't be dumb and they hide away and castle up. Orcs like to get into battle, and then in this scenario, they've just jumped up and they've just put them in a situation. Yeah, they're going to die, but look, let's face it, they're orcs. They don't care. They're like, ha ha! You bring it, sir, with your gun. I got a bigger gun. Ah! Okay, we're dead next turn, but it doesn't matter. What they've, as I said, for that next turn, potentially what they could have done is even made the Redemptor go back after those looters. So all of a sudden, those looters have created that massive, great distraction on pulling them away. Anyway, listen, you like the content we're pushing out Twisted Dice, do me a massive great favour. Make sure you're liking this video, making sure you're subscribing to the channel. More importantly, turn on the notifications, because that is going to keep you updated on all the cool content out from Twisted Dice. Now, we've also got a Twisted Dice webpage now, so come check us out on that. twisteddice.co.uk. Come check out all the goodness. It's still in early days of the website, but I promise you there's going to be so many cool things from that. And yeah, nothing else to say. Gotta love and leave you. Anyway, thanks for checking us out, and hopefully I'm going to catch you all again for another tactical video. and come check out my painting videos. I'm going to tell you how to paint some really cool stuff to a nice tabletop standard. Army painting is my thing, and army painting is my game. Catch you all later.